Welcome to the Political Bridge. I'm Ada, your host. Today we're diving into a topic that sparks strong feelings across the country. It's about who becomes a citizen and how we manage people coming into our nation. We're talking about the future of birthright citizenship and immigration policy in the U.S. This idea means that anyone born here is a citizen. It's in the 14th Amendment of our Constitution, but some argue it should change. Others say it's a core American value. We'll explore how this impacts our economy, our security, and the lives of real people. We'll also look at the broader immigration system. How do we balance welcoming new people with keeping our borders safe? What does this mean for families, workers, and our national identity? Joining me today are Nico and Jordan. They will help us understand these complex issues from different viewpoints. Let's get started.
Thanks, Ada. The current system for birthright citizenship and immigration policy in the U.S. is broken. It encourages illegal immigration. People cross our borders knowing their children will automatically be citizens. This creates a magnet effect. It puts a huge strain on our schools, hospitals, and welfare programs. We see this in border states especially. Taxpayers carry this burden. We need to end birthright citizenship for children of non-citizens. This would remove a major incentive for illegal border crossings. It would also help secure our nation. Our laws should protect our citizens first. We must control who comes into our country. We need an immigration system that serves America's interests. It should prioritize skilled workers and those who follow the rules. We can't keep ignoring the costs of our current approach. It's not fair to legal immigrants or American families.
Nico, the idea of birthright citizenship is fundamental to who we are as a nation. It's a promise of equality. It says that every child born here has a chance. Changing this would create a permanent underclass of people. These are children born here, but without rights. Imagine a child growing up in America, speaking English, but unable to vote or get a job easily. This would make our society less stable. It would make many people more vulnerable. Our immigration policy should be about finding solutions, not creating new problems. Many immigrants, including those without papers, contribute greatly to our economy. They fill jobs, start businesses, and pay taxes. We need a path to citizenship for those already here. We also need a more efficient legal immigration system. This would reduce illegal crossings. It would also help our economy grow. We must uphold our values of fairness and opportunity.
Both of you have laid out strong opening statements. Nico, you argue that birthright citizenship acts as a magnet for illegal immigration. Jordan, you say it's a core American value and changing it would create instability. My first question for both of you is this: how do your proposed changes specifically address the economic impact of immigration? Nico, you mentioned the burden on taxpayers. Jordan, you spoke about contributions to the economy. Can you elaborate on the direct financial effects of your preferred approach, both positive and negative, for the average American family?
Ada, ending birthright citizenship for children of non-citizens would save taxpayers billions. Right now, local services like schools and healthcare are overwhelmed. These services are often paid for by local property taxes. When more people use them without contributing their fair share, it strains budgets. This means less money for other community needs. It can also lead to higher taxes for everyone else. By removing the incentive, we reduce illegal immigration. This lowers the demand on public services. It frees up resources. We can then invest in our own citizens. We can improve existing infrastructure. We can also lower taxes for working families. Our current immigration policy in the U.S. is a financial drain. It's not sustainable. We need to prioritize the financial well-being of our current citizens. That's a practical and responsible approach for our economy.
Nico, your plan would actually hurt our economy. Children born here, even to undocumented parents, grow up to be workers and taxpayers. They contribute to our Social Security and Medicare systems. They fill jobs that many native-born Americans don't want. Studies show immigrants, regardless of status, pay billions in taxes each year. If we create a class of people without full rights, they'll be pushed into the shadows. This means they'll earn less, they'll pay fewer taxes. This will create a larger underground economy. It would also make it harder for businesses to find workers. This would slow down economic growth. A fair and orderly path to citizenship would bring these workers into the formal economy. They would pay more taxes, they would have better jobs. This would benefit all Americans. It would strengthen our economy, not weaken it.
This is where the rubber meets the road. Nico, you've argued that ending birthright citizenship would reduce the strain on public services and save taxpayer money. However, critics suggest that it would create a large marginalized population, leading to a shadow economy that actually reduces overall tax revenue. How do you address the concern that your proposal might create a new, expensive problem rather than solving an existing one? Jordan, you've emphasized the economic contributions of immigrants, including those without papers, but some argue that the costs of providing services to these populations, especially at the state and local level, outweigh their economic contributions. How do you reconcile the immediate costs borne by communities with the long-term economic benefits you describe?
Ada, the idea of a shadow economy is a concern, but the current system already has one. People are here illegally. Ending birthright citizenship would not create a new problem. It would reduce the number of people coming here illegally in the first place. That's the key. We're talking about future flows, not just those already here. For those already here, we need stronger border security. We need better enforcement of existing laws. We also need a merit-based legal immigration system. This would bring in people who fill specific economic needs. It would make sure they contribute from day one. We need to stop incentivizing illegal behavior. That's how we protect our economy and our rule of law. The current immigration policy in the U.S. is unsustainable. We need common sense changes. This is about prioritizing our citizens and legal residents.
Ada, the immediate costs you mention are real, but they are often overstated. They are also a symptom of a broken system. If we had a clear path to legal status, many of these costs would decrease. People would be able to work legally. They would pay more taxes. They would access health care through insurance, not just emergency rooms. This would actually reduce the burden on local services. The long-term benefits of immigration are well documented. Immigrants start businesses at higher rates. They innovate. They contribute to our culture. The alternative, creating a permanent underclass, would be far more expensive. It would lead to social unrest. It would create major public health challenges. It would also make it harder for law enforcement. We need to invest in a humane and efficient system. This is an investment in our future. It's the right choice for our nation.
It's clear that both sides see significant economic consequences from their proposed changes. Nico, you believe ending birthright citizenship would reduce the magnet effect and save taxpayer money. Jordan, you argue that such a change would create a costly underclass and that immigrants are vital to our economy. This tension highlights a core disagreement, whether the primary goal of immigration policy should be to deter illegal entry or to integrate new populations for economic and social benefit.
The primary goal of any nation's immigration policy must be to protect its sovereignty and its citizens. We need to deter illegal entry. This is not just about economics. It's about national security. It's about fairness to those who follow the rules. Ending birthright citizenship for children of non-citizens is a vital step. It sends a clear message. Our borders matter. Our laws matter. We also need to build a wall. We need more Border Patrol agents. We need to streamline deportations for those who break our laws. This isn't anti-immigrant. It's pro-rule of law. We can welcome people who come here legally. We can welcome those who contribute to our society. But we cannot have open borders. We cannot reward illegal behavior. Our nation's future depends on a secure and orderly system. This is the future of birthright citizenship and immigration policy in the U.S.
Nico, focusing only on deterrence, misses the bigger picture. Our nation has always grown and thrived because of immigrants. They are not a threat. They are a strength. We need comprehensive immigration reform. This means securing our borders, yes, but it also means creating legal pathways. We need to process asylum claims fairly. We need to clear backlogs. We need to provide a path to citizenship for those who have lived here for years. This would bring people out of the shadows. It would make our communities safer. It would boost our economy. We should not abandon the principle of birthright citizenship. It is a cornerstone of American opportunity. We can have both secure borders and a welcoming, fair immigration system. It's not an either-or choice. We need smart, humane policies that reflect our values and our needs.
Jordan, while you emphasize the economic contributions of immigrants, we must also consider the fiscal strain on states and municipalities, particularly those on the front lines of migration. For instance, New York City, a sanctuary city, recently reported spending over $4.3 billion on migrant services in just 1 year, projecting $10.6 billion over 3 years. This isn't just about federal budgets. It's about local taxpayers bearing the brunt. These are funds diverted from schools, infrastructure, and other essential services for established residents. This isn't sustainable. When we talk about the future of birthright citizenship and immigration policy in the U.S., we must acknowledge that these costs are directly linked to policies that incentivize unchecked migration. Ending birthright citizenship for children of non-citizens would significantly alleviate this pressure by reducing the initial draw, allowing communities to better manage their resources and focus on their existing populations without being overwhelmed by unforeseen expenditures. This is a practical solution to a very real financial crisis impacting American cities and towns.
Nico, those figures from New York City, while significant, highlight a failure of federal policy and resource allocation, not necessarily the inherent flaw of birthright citizenship or immigration itself. Many of these costs are emergency responses to a lack of a coherent, well-funded national strategy for asylum seekers and new arrivals. If the federal government provided adequate funding and streamlined work permit processes, these individuals could become self-sufficient much faster. Studies like those from the New American Economy consistently show that immigrants, including asylum seekers, contribute more in taxes and economic activity over time than they consume in services, especially when integrated properly. For example, immigrants are nearly twice as likely to start businesses, creating jobs and economic dynamism. The issue isn't birthright citizenship. It's the bottleneck in our immigration system that prevents rapid integration. We need to invest in processing and integration, not just deterrence, to turn potential costs into proven economic gains for our communities and the nation as a whole.
We've had a robust discussion today on the future of birthright citizenship and immigration policy in the U.S. Nico and Jordan have highlighted the deep divisions and complex considerations involved. From economic impacts to national values, it's clear there are no easy answers. This debate touches on who we are as a country and what kind of future we want to build. Thank you, Nico and Jordan, for sharing your insights, and thank you to our listeners for joining us. You can find more information and resources at tppbridgepod.com. Join us next time for another engaging discussion. Until then, stay informed, stay engaged, and keep bridging those political divides.